If they're not your keys, it's not really your crypto. This leads us into the annual Proof of Keys Day on January 3rd, created by Trace Mayer. This day has been designated as a day to demand and take possession of your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency by moving it off of exchanges and into a wallet you have control over.
Hey, Trace Mayer from the Bitcoin Knowledge Podcast. So I'm going to start a new cultural tradition for the Bitcoin community. It's called the Proof of Keys Celebration. The Genesis block, it came out on January 3rd. Satoshi, there's the Bitcoin white paper. And as Andreas has said, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. So on this Proof of Keys celebration, what we're going to do is we're going to withdraw all of our Bitcoin from any third-party services just to prove that they're there, right? It's either on the blockchain or it didn't happen.
Once moved, make a post on social media showing your solidarity to take control of your assets. I'll post a link in the description below. The question is, does someone else have control of your funds? Or do you control them yourself? If you don't know the answer to this question, that's okay, and exactly what we're here for. If you have any money in a bank, that's what we would call a custodial solution. Let's say you deposit your paycheck into your bank, and then you write a check to pay a bill, or use your debit card to withdraw money at an ATM, or pay for dinner at a restaurant. In each of these examples, your bank either pays on your behalf, in the case of writing a check, or using your card online to pay a bill. The bank receives a request and then transfers the funds from its accounts, then indicates on your account ledger the funds have been withdrawn. When you use your debit card at an ATM, the card and your PIN are proof that it's you, as far as the machine knows, who's making a request for the withdrawal and then distributes the cash to you and makes a record on your account. This cash you receive is not the same cash you put in, however. It's commingled with all the other bank's finances, and they only allow you to make the withdrawal. It's what's called a trust environment. You trust the bank to do what you want it to do in regards to your account and money. But what if they don't? There's always this possibility because they have control or custody over your funds. Now, what does a non-custodial or self-custody example look like? Imagine the actual cash in your wallet or pocketbook. It's physically there, and no one but you can decide what to do with it. You have total control to save it or spend it as you wish, and there's no third party involved with whom you need to check in on to make sure they're treating your funds correctly. There's a lot more to this, but on its most basic level, a centralized crypto exchange is like your bank. You deposit and withdraw funds, but ultimately, the exchange controls all the funds in their company accounts and only allows you access based on your individual account information with them. What allows them to do this? Simply, they control the keys, which allow them to access all the accounts on their systems. You may have an account number, but that's only for personal identification. They control everything else. Now, a non-custodial example would be Exodus, or something similar where the funds are stored at your own address in your own wallet, just like in the cash example above. No one can ever limit your access to the wallet because you have the keys that control the wallet in your possession. Now, it's not all rainbows and unicorns here. There are, of course, advantages and disadvantages to both models. For example, an exchange can decide, like a bank, to not allow access to your funds. Now, on the other hand, holding your own funds puts you at risk of losing them due to poor security practices. Another risk of using custodial services, which we referenced earlier, is the exchange getting hacked. In 2019 alone, there were 7 major exchange hacks, totaling up to over $158 million. At the beginning of the year, Cryptopia was hacked for $13 million and was never able to recover from the breach. Eventually, filing for bankruptcy. No customer funds were returned. Dragon X on March 26 was hacked to the tune of $7 million. No funds were ever reimbursed to the users. Just a few days later, on March 30th, BitThumb lost almost $20 million due to a hack. They said all these came from company wallets and no users' funds were lost. Then, the most visible hack of the year, Binance, on May 7th had $40 million drained from their accounts. What did they do? They shut down deposits and withdrawals for a week while they sorted out the security to their systems. Of course, they allowed users to continue to trade on their off-the-chain internal ledger. And all the customers' funds were covered by internal company wallets. But the fact of a $40 million loss was too much to ignore. BitTrue was then hacked on July 27th for $4.2 million, and their customers were only promised a refund. Next was BitPoint on July 12th for $28 million. The result was about 500,000 users were locked out of their accounts for over a month. Anyone who has been in the ecosystem for more than 5 years has certainly been affected in some way by the most famous exchange hack of all time, Mt. Gox, which, when it was hacked, was handling about 70% of the world's Bitcoin transactions. In early February of 2014, Mt. Gox halted all trading and withdrawals. They had lost over 850,000 BTC, or $450 million worth of Bitcoin at that moment. In today's price, that would equal over $6 billion in BTC, or about 1/4 of the total market cap. It's mind-boggling to think about. Now, imagine if all the banks in the world decided to suspend customer withdrawals. What fixes this? Non-custodial crypto solutions. Please leave a comment below to let us know what your thoughts are about custodial versus non-custodial solutions.